I think the main purpose that relationship builds is it helps you achieve your best self. You're constantly working on each other, pushing each other to be your best self. Things that you wouldn't have looked at otherwise, things that you may not have done.
All right, guys, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the juicy topic of what men want and what women want.
Yeah, so there's a lot of takes, different theories out there on social media on, what do men really want? What do women really want? But here at Black Vision Network, obviously we have a big emphasis on family, and families can't really be constructed without relationships. And so we kind of want to help you guys out there, at least from our perspective, tell you what we think men are really looking for and fundamental godly partnership, and what women are looking for as well.
Yes. And we're talking about what we want out of others is what I think that we should want out of ourselves as well.
Yes. So I guess I'll start. I guess we're kind of gonna focus on characteristics of person as opposed to other features. But one thing for me is I like people who are reserved, and that kind of has like multiple meanings. Like for me, reserved just doesn't mean like sitting quietly in the corner, but it also means like knowing time and place, understanding situational occurrences and how to navigate them. Like when I'm talking about like reserved, I'm looking for somebody who, is not always going 100%, but does know when to get in that bag if necessary, and vice versa. So
yeah. I was literally just watching a video the other day. It was talking about like that video you said I was watching for like 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
I think it's by The Roommates, and it had this dude on there that I watch, and it was funny because the dude that I watched, he said his audience was like 80% women, and the dude that I just went on his channel to watch, the dude I watched, said he was 80% men, and I thought that was hilarious. But they were talking about how men want somebody that's not for everybody, and like.
Yes.
That you can take somewhere and not have to worry about telling them how to act.
Yes. Yeah, because that's not fun.
It's not. I mean, even with just like friends, it's just like, oh, you can't take certain people to certain places,
Yeah.
or family members.
And certain things are promoted, but we do not want somebody who is for the streets. It's like you want to be able to like look at your lady and understand that, oh, there are things that I know, things I see about you that are reserved for us in our relationship in our home. So yeah.
Yes. And I think it's like that makes me think of men like and women. Like men want somebody that other people want, but like the fact that that woman chose that man and she only gives 100% of herself to him makes it more special. Like,
Yes.
But it's like nobody wants a woman that nobody else
That's
wants.
true. And there's different levels of like attraction, because like
Yeah.
you can be like attracted to somebody who may put themselves out there like that, but I guess when you're talking about terms of looking at a long-term relationship, like that may be cool, just to vibe with for a couple dates or whatever, go out with and party with, but in terms of like long-term relationship, that's not really gonna cut it.
Yeah.
But
So I guess one thing that I want, like, in a man is that I want somebody who can, like, kind of, like, tell me what to do and make decisions so I don't have to. Like, I know I'm a very independent person, but sometimes it's hard for me to make decisions. I'm very indecisive.
so kind of like, how do you balance that?
Well, I don't know. I don't. I really don't.
Well,
But, like, I don't know. I like it when somebody can, like, turn it up a notch. Or, like, I don't know, somebody that you has your back and won't, like, bend for anybody. Has some backbone.
Okay. That makes sense.
I like that. Like, it's like,
Let
oh,
you know that
some,
you have that support.
Yeah. Like, if somebody does you wrong, like, you can go talk to your man about it. And he'll be like, what did you say?
That kind of feeling where I can do it by myself, but it's nice to be able to know that I can rely on somebody else to help as well.
Exactly. And I feel like it should go both ways,
Yes.
Because it's a partnership.
I would say that's also a point for me. I definitely want a woman who has independence and drive. Like, you have to like, I guess I see the man as being the leader as well, but I mean, no partnership is without all parts of the team. So they're like, a good leader is, in my opinion, someone who recognizes their weaknesses and sees where somebody else's strengths can fill those weaknesses. So there are things that, for example, Janae is able to do that I think she's better at than me. And a good leader is not going to be like, oh, I'll put my foot down. I know I'm not really good at this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm the man. No, you want to be able to lean on somebody who has those skills and can bring that to the table because they have, you know, something going for them, something that they're striving to, that they're about.
Yep. Okay, so your point now. Let's do you again.
Okay. I mean, this kind of goes kind of like being reserved too, but like peace. Like, I'm very like somebody who, like, I used to be somebody who was like rah rah. Like, if you like bark at me, I could snap, go off in an instant. But I'm very like calm now. I'm trying to become one with my inner peace. Like, I just had a bad week in terms of doing that this last week because there was a lot of hiccups. But I'm trying to get better at maintaining the peace around me. And I think a relationship should enhance that. I mean, obviously no relationship is always going to be sunshine and rainbows, but to be able to come home from a long day of work, a stressful basketball game, whatever have you, and be able to talk, vent, and, you know, rest in having somebody that, you know, will listen to you vent, but also motivate you to do better next time or whatever have you. So I think I definitely saw that in you.
Yeah, I think like me, like I need like a cheerleader, but I also need somebody who's gonna like not tell me yes all the time, because not all my ideas are good ideas. Like, it might feel good in the moment, but some of the ideas just won't turn out that well in the future. But I like a good cheerleader and somebody like I can vent to and will give me advice on how to be a good person. Like, I feel like you're kind of like an old soul, even though you got baby face.
I've been told this time and time again.
You have an old soul. So I like that wisdom about it. I like when somebody can bring wisdom to a relationship, and they can offer that. And so, yeah.
I think that's important. Like, when you talk about like godly partnership, it's like the main purpose that God had for a relationship was partnership, comfort, a helper, essentially. And so, like, you know, you hear those Bible verses like iron sharpens iron. Like, I think the main purpose that relationship builds is it helps you achieve your best self. You're constantly working on each other, pushing each other to be your best self. Things that you wouldn't have looked at otherwise, things that you may not have done otherwise, it's supposed to come out through relationships. And I think good relationships do that. It's like we were talking about the other day, like, relationships are sometimes a mirror. That's a mirror you don't necessarily get if you're by yourself or in a relationship that's not serving you. If you're in a relationship that's serving you, you can see those childhood traumas come out and it forces you to deal with it. So I think that's a good point.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. I feel like the mirror thing, it's like always going to be a mirror. Any interaction that you have with anybody, I feel like it's a mirror to you. And like, I feel like now that I realize that, like, anytime I feel like myself take something personal that somebody said, I'm like, oh, it's only really personal to them. Because, like, the only reason they would bring something up like that, even though it might seem insulting to me, is because it's already in their area of mind. Like, they've been thinking about it a lot. So, like, okay, really? So I would say, to elaborate more, for instance, I was talking to an acquaintance the other day, and she's really overweight. She's very overweight, and I was just mentioning how I lived on the 3rd floor, and she was like, "Ooh, I couldn't do that. My thighs and my ankles would hurt." And I was like, I don't know. She was like, I don't know. I kind of took it offensive. I was like, why are you automatically giving me a reason why I should live on the 3rd floor? And I was like, oh, it's because you're overweight. It ain't got nothing to do with me, really. And then, like, somebody else at work, this is really the one that came to mind, was they always like comment on like my biceps. They're like, your biceps are really big, and like you know that's something I'm self-conscious about. Like I really don't try. They're just that way.
We get it.
I know. I was just born this way though. And they're like, oh, we got these armbands for our ID. He was like, you want one of these? I was like, no, I'm good. He was like, yeah, they're probably too small for you anyway.
Oh gosh.
And then I'm like, you're just mad because you got noodle arms. Like,
Nah, it be killing me sometimes though, cause the other day like we did arms and back together, and I was getting a good pump in, and I'm expecting like, cause I mean you're pretty close to me in what you can do weight. I mean you're an athlete, well built. It's like, but I was like, I expect you to be able to lift this, and then you went like a couple 10, 15 pounds lower, and I'm like,
like I really don't do this.
wait a minute here.
Like I used to purposely not work out my arms because I didn't want them to get any bigger. But now I do because I want to be balanced. And I feel like when I do like body weight exercises, it makes them slimmer. Not really. I don't know. They just stay the same size.
It look nice. You got some compliments on your arms. Did you internalize those?
Oh yeah, I need to. I need to do some affirmations on my arms.
But yeah, I guess getting back to it, another thing I look for is an ability to be honest and open. Like, I feel like I've always kind of been like a guarded person, but when you get around somebody who makes you feel comfortable, who can relate to past struggles that you've gone through, and can hear you, not also hear you and allow you to vent again, but also give you positive wisdom and advice, it's inviting. And the more times that you experience that over and over again, the more like you want to open up. And I think a good thing about that is, like when somebody shares something with you, you're not like throwing it back up in their face later when it's a fight, but you're just a good listener, a good sounding board. Like, I think that's good for all of us. I think if there's anything that we learned during the pandemic is it's not really good for people to be alone by themselves indoors all the time.
Yeah.
People get back outside and act beside themselves.
And like
crazy.
Actually just go outside. Like you don't have to stay inside all day. Go on a walk around the neighborhood. We're lucky because we have like a park nearby. It's beautiful. I love going over there. We haven't gone enough, honestly. But our schedules have been weird.
Yeah.
Like right now it's midnight.
Yeah, it is.
It's midnight.
She's up because she got to go to work tomorrow, and I had a 9 p.m. rec league basketball game. And
basketball game.
Here we are.
You sleepy?
I'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be all right. So, another thing.
Yeah, what else? What did the women?
That I want is.
Yeah.
I also want somebody who's like living a healthy lifestyle. Like I feel like it would be impossible. Well, me, I want to live a healthy lifestyle. I'm not the healthiest. I'm transitioning to a healthier lifestyle, but it makes it easier when my partner wants to be healthy as well. And like you're in shape, you cook, which is nice, and then you also like to stay health conscious.
Yeah,
which I love.
And it's always about constant improvement. That's another thing. Yeah, I was definitely looking for somebody who has a desire to be better. I mean, that kind of goes with the independence and drive, but it's gonna be very hard for you to sharpen iron or any of that, grow or see the mirror, the things that a relationship is trying to point out, if you're not willing to grow, if you're stagnated, if you're not open to change. Like, I think one of the biggest things that drew me to you was your spontaneity.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I did that correct.
I am that.
Because I'm a very like strict planner, and like we kind of make up in the areas that each other lacks. But that was cool to me because I'm like, oh, somebody this spontaneous is always gonna be open to change, open to open to give advice, and also open to take advice because they're about it. They understand the positive effects of change. So
yeah. I think one of my one of my weaknesses, or in the past, used to be like being too open to advice. Like I wouldn't consider the sources. Like I don't know, even just like hearing gossip, it's just like gets you thinking something. But it's just like, oh, why am I thinking this so hard about what that person said if I don't even know if the source is credible, you know?
That makes sense.
So I think as I've grown up, like,
Your
I try
filter
to
is getting
surround
better.
myself. What do you mean?
I just think, like, in general, like, your filter becomes better. Like, what you take in, what you, like, I feel like I've become very good at qualifying sources of information. Like, I used to be like, oh, this is this person. They've been on the earth for this amount of time. They've seen this, this, and this. They're right. Where I'm not like, but you're kind of biased here, here, and here. So if I talk to you about this subject, then you're probably likely giving me an answer rooted in your bias as opposed to an objective solution.
Wow, you sound so logical right there.
Well, I'm a pretty logical guy.
Yeah,
you know?
you are. That just gave me like, it's
An
trying to-
aneurysm.
Yeah, but what was that? That made me think. I was like, so you were saying that. Say it again, because
we were talking about like the filter, and you were saying that you didn't used to like qualify who you were getting advice from, that you're really open to.
Oh yeah, I
advice
was
from
gonna
all
say
sources.
I can like I always used to tell myself I can't accept advice from somebody in the area who isn't where I want to be in that area, because like it's like accepting career advice from your parents. But I don't want to go down the same career path as my parents.
You sure you don't want to work at the same company for all your life?
No.
Oh, why not? But no, I think, and I guess kind of to wrap things up, the last point I would say is that what I did in developing this list for myself is I also worked on myself. So Janae loves to tell the story about how the first time that she asked me out, I rejected her.
Oh my
which
gosh.
is not true.
I hate even saying that.
Which is not fully true.
I want to revoke everything.
It's too late. It's out there now.
Oh
it's
my
on your
God.
YouTube channel. It's all out there.
Is it?
Every time you say our first story, that is the first thing you start with.
Well, you always say I rejected you after asking me out. Like your roommate didn't tell me that you had a crush on me.
What
We used
you
to
was not
hang out
supposed to
every
do.
day. And then I was like, do you have a crush on me?
Are you gonna let me get to my point?
And you said no.
Are you gonna let me get to my point?
I was like,
I
you
said
lied!
No. I said no on purpose.
You lied!
Because I felt that I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. I cared for Janae very deeply, and I did not want to hurt her or waste her time. And I knew that through doing personal accounting that I wasn't ready. And so what I did was work on myself to where I felt comfortable to say that, hey, I feel that I'm at least a little bit, maybe not fully, but at least a little bit worthy of having a relationship with you, because I worked on myself. And I think that's important. Like, you can't be somebody not of value and trying to figure out why you're not finding value in a relationship.
Yes. Say it again.
You cannot be a person not of value and be looking for value in a relationship. And so I was a big believer in that. I'm like, well, if I know that I'm guarded, detached from people easily, and prone to fits of extreme anger, then I'm probably not the best person to be in a relationship right now. So I worked on those things and I said, okay, now I feel comfortable being in a relationship. These are the things that I'm looking for in a partner.
Yep. We were just talking about this the other night. Like, you need to be like, would I date myself? If there was a double of me, I don't know. If there was like a boy version of me and I had to live with them, what would it be like? What would it be like? I don't know. Are you courteous? Are you kind? Are you kind to yourself? Because
That's a good
however
one.
you talk to yourself is how you speak to others.
Yes.
And so that's why you should never take stuff to heart, because people only speak their own truths and what they believe. They can
Their
only
own
speak
pain.
from that perspective.
Yep.
And people who love themselves speak love. People who hate themselves speak hate. So, yes, speak more love to yourself. You'll attract someone who also speak love to you because they speak love to themselves.
So all in all, work on yourself, love yourself, and let's, rebuild this black nucleus. We need loving family, 2-parent households.
Connections.
Yes, in order to strengthen our communities. And it really starts with being a person of value and finding people of value. So we hope that these tips that we gave you will help you do just that.
Yeah.
As always, like, follow, and subscribe, and let us know what you think of the video. Peace.